Welcome to the YNTAAY Minis. I'm Chris Smith. Our sign isn't lit up because we're dimming it in honor of Charlotte Rae, the star of The Facts of Life, who passed away this week at the age of 92. And Charlotte Rae was one of my favorite actors. I just loved her ever since she was on Diff'rent Strokes and The Facts of Life. And I always said that she was like a mother to me. And so she was very important in my life. Even when I had took over the mailroom, I had this magnet that I put up on the cabinet by my desk. And I always thought of myself as the Mrs. Garrett of the mailroom. And Christine was Joe. And because she was tough and told it like it was. And John Carson was Natalie because they had that sense of humor. And Jeff Loach was Blair because he was so pretty. And Valerie was Tootie because she was black. And I was Mrs. Garrett because I was the wise one. And so this is on my refrigerator now. And so I was devastated to find out that she had passed away on Sunday. She was only 92, which my mother says, you can't be upset that Charlotte Rae died. She had a long life, but 92 is only 2 years older than my own mother. So it's like, oh, all of our favorites are leaving the world. And, oh, look, I'm wearing my Golden Girls shirt that Christine and her sister Jen brought me, which I love. And I know I should be wearing a Facts of Life shirt, and I'll probably see if they have one and I could order. Wouldn't it be nice to have a big Charlotte Rae picture on my chest? But I thought, well, the Golden Girls was on NBC in the 80s, and so was the Facts of Life, so it's the closest thing I could get. But I always loved when Charlotte Rae as Mrs. Garrett would say, girls, 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 because she would get so excited and flustered with those girls and their shenanigans. They were always stealing vans and getting into trouble. Remember when they painted the room above the cafeteria where they were forced to stay, and they had a paint fight, and oh, such a mess. But when she left the show, The Facts of Life, I was devastated because it was like, oh no. But at least Cloris Leachman came there. One of my favorite episodes of The Facts of Life was when Tootie wanted to go to the Jermaine Jackson concert, and she was like, please, Mrs. Garrett, please. And Mrs. Garrett said, okay, Tootie, okay. And she said that she was frightened that Tootie was acting that way like the girls back in the day with, was it the Beatles or was it Frank Sinatra? I'll have to watch that clip. Well, you know, those girls that used to go crazy at concerts. So years ago in 2015, I got to go meet Charlotte Rae at her book signing for her book, The Facts of My Life, which she wrote with her son Larry Strauss, and it's an autobiography, and it's a very good read. I read it, and she, like she said in interviews, she let it all hang out, and she really had a very interesting career. And she dealt with a son who had autism, and she talked about when she was, when he was institutionalized for a little while, and while she was working on Sesame Street, which I didn't even, that might have been before my time of Sesame Street, but it's just a fascinating read. You should pick it up. What I love is the picture here on the cover is the same picture as the magnet, but look, it's a little different. On this one, Joe is in the middle, and here it's Tootie, so they were probably like, okay, Tootie, you get in the middle now, but everybody else stay where you are. I don't know why that happened. But so look, I went to see Charlotte Rae with my friend Darren Waller. We were going to do an episode about our encounter with Charlotte Rae. And look, here we are at the Barnes & Noble in 2015, Waller's friend said I wasn't smiling in that picture. Look at that pleasant look on my face. I'm smiling as much as Charlotte Rae is. My mouth turns down. But so we went there to the Grove, to Barnes & Noble, and saw Charlotte Rae, and it was thrilling. It was like, oh, there she is in front of everybody, and she was so sweet. She was just 90 then, and she was just like, it was like, see, you know, she's very funny, and just like my mother's very funny. And so we wait in the long line. Oh, and so they ran out of books. The only two that didn't get books, even though we'd pre-ordered them, I think, were me and Waller. So what they did was they gave us little stickers, and then our book was going to come in. So we took our stickers up there for Charlotte Rae to sign, and look, she's written, "Dear Chris, heart XXX, Charlotte Rae," and then her son Larry signed it here, "Enjoy." And he was sitting at the table with her, but she did a little reading beforehand, and then we were, you know, in the long line to get her to sign it, and we take these little stickers, and she's like, "What are these stickers?" And her son was like, "They ran out of books," and she's like, "They didn't have enough books?" So it was very funny. So here we are. So it was just thrilling being next to Charlotte Rae. And I've had friends who know Charlotte Rae. My friend Dana, her man, that man, I affectionately call him that man. His real name is Alex. He was in like physical therapy with Charlotte Rae because, you know, she had had pancreatic cancer. And I don't know if that's why she was in this physical therapy, and he had had a transplant. And so it was all these different people in this therapy class or something. And so he knew her, and my friend Rob knew Charlotte Rae, Rob the theater critic. So I had all these 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon just by like one person away from Charlotte Rae. So it was just so exciting to meet her. And I told her, when I told her how my mother, I used to say to Betty, that Charlotte Rae was like a mother to me, and Betty would say, "She didn't change your dirty diapers." So I told that to Charlotte Rae, that I had said that Charlotte was like a mother to me, and Betty had said that, and Charlotte said, "And she's right, I didn't change your diapers." So it was very funny. But anyway, I recommend that you get The Facts of My Life. It's a very fascinating read, and Charlotte was a wonderful actress, and yes, she does have a wonderful legacy to leave, and she had such a great sense of humor, but I'm just so sad that she's gone. I'm like, what's her family going to do now? And Willie Talk and I just loved watching The Facts of Life in Diff'rent Strokes, and she even did a few episodes of Hello Larry as Mrs. Garrett with McLean Stevenson. I don't really remember. I probably saw it, but I didn't like Hello Larry. Nobody did, but I'm sure those episodes were good. But anyway, Charlotte Rae, we love you so much, and we will miss you. She was even in Ricky and the Flash a couple of years ago. Remember, with Meryl Streep? She played the sweet old lady who was, I think, Meryl Streep's former mother-in-law. But anyway, we're just so sad, and we send our good thoughts to her family. And I don't know if Broadway is going to dim the lights, because Charlotte did a bunch of Broadway shows, and she even was in Driving Miss Daisy in Chicago, and she did Into the Woods at the Amundsen Theater here in LA before I came to town. She played Jack's mother, so, you know, Jack of the Beanstalk fame. So I would have loved to have seen that. But anyway, I would think that Broadway would be dimming the lights, but I couldn't find anything online. So that's why we've dimmed our lights of our sign for Charlotte Rae. So Charlotte Rae, we love you, and hopefully we'll get to chat with you one day in heaven. Okay. Thank you, everybody, and goodbye.